Hello, folks, and welcome to the show. This week we have a returning guest to the show. If you have not heard their first interview, it's a fascinating one. It's about a paranormal investigative team. So please just go back and listen to our one of our more popular episodes, episode 13, the Toledo Spirit Hunter. It's a fascinating discussion about a paranormal investigation and haunted artifacts. These guys work tirelessly on producing top-notch paranormal content. Seems they are always working on new projects. I've had the pleasure to get to know Dennis since our last podcast. He's the founder of the Toledo Spirit Hunters. I'd like to welcome Dennis Hagan to the show. How you doing, Dennis?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just busy.
Busy,
It's
huh?
busy, man.
Yeah, I kind of follow you on social media a lot on some of your different platforms, and I can tell, man, you're always pushing new content and coming up with good new ideas.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely.
So just before we get started, I guess, how are things with you and your family with this whole you know pandemic thing and how the world has changed in this year 2020?
It's actually pretty good. I mean, none of us have caught COVID, knock on wood, but um, with me and my wife working in the healthcare, there's that chance. But knock on wood, we haven't caught it yet. So
Have you working in healthcare? Have you come across a lot of people, or is it pretty chill in Toledo, Ohio right now? Or what is?
Lucas
Give us
County,
an idea of what it's like there.
Lucas County is like in the red right now. So, but our hospital is low on COVID cases. So I think it's more the inner city.
Gotcha. So you do paranormal investigating at residence and business. Like I said, you're always putting out good content, amazing video content. I guess last we left off on the last podcast, you were getting set up for your Amazon Prime and things like that. And I was actually able to watch one of your videos that you produced and put on Amazon Prime. I thought it was a really good video. Um, can you talk a little bit about that? Kind of what is the status of your Amazon situation right now?
um, the status of it is it's okay. I mean, the viewership on the what I did was basically I put one episode on there because I wanted to test the waters of the viewership on Amazon Prime. I wasn't, too sure if it was gonna, take off or if it was just gonna go like in slopes, which it has. And some days it'll hit 750 views, some days it'll hit 950, some days it'll hit 300, some days it'll hit 500. It's just up and down. But now with Amazon Prime, we had to keep producing, content to be able to have people, come in. Now, I am working on another paranormal series for Amazon Prime, which you have seen that trailer, which that's with my new team members, which I'm excited for them because they're actually going to be on Prime with us. Uh, Also, I'm doing a documentary too on the Purple Gang, which that will not be out probably until which we'll touch base on that in a little bit here, but that won't be out until towards the end of next year because I still got to put some other stuff together.
So that's kind of your future plans for Amazon. Now, you had mentioned the documentary. Is that planning for Amazon, or is that just going to be
Yeah, it's playing for Amazon.
okay?
It's probably going to be released, like I said, towards the end of the year because I have so much I have to add to it. So,
Well, let's get into that then. I guess since we're on topic of the documentary, um, you're producing a documentary on the Purple Gang. Can you just maybe enlighten our listeners on what that is if they don't know anything about the Purple Gang?
the Purple Gang used to be a bunch of they were mobsters back in the Prohibition. They would bootleg alcohol through the underground. They worked with Al Capone. I could tell you that Al Capone was scared of these guys. Like these guys were ruthless. They also have ties with the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, but the Purple Gang would meet in certain cities in Michigan. and in Toledo ourselves, and they would, like I said, they would bootleg alcohol and all kinds of other stuff. So basically what the documentary is, or the first documentary, the first part of it is about, is basically we track some of the locations where the Purple Gang used to hang out at. Now, and we also found some people that had some artifacts. So we interviewed those people, and we also investigated those artifacts to find out if the Purple Gang still was attached to those artifacts. And also we reached out to these locations that the Purple Gang was known to hang out at, and crack safes and strip plates and all that stuff. And we reached out to those places, and there's more to come on this whole documentary. That's just part one of what we completed as of yesterday night. But we reached out to these places, and we wanted to investigate these locations along with interviews and history, and we wanted to find out, like, is there victims that they murdered, are they still attached to that property? Is the gang still attached to that property? So that's basically what our documentary is about, is history, interviews, and basically paranormal investigations of locations that they used to hang out at. Now, last week we went to one of the locations in Albion, Michigan, and it was a strip. It was a, like a what's the word I'm like a metal shop, sort of, where they strip plates, and they had a car there that was like bulletproof that they housed there. Now, they had one of the gang members live across the river where the garage would sit, and there's like a river right behind it, and one of the gang members was like diagonal from it in an apartment or a house or something, and he would watch that garage for any kind of criminal or lawful activity. And my wife was using his name, and we even got some really cool activity from his name being mentioned. There was also, when we were investigating, also I said, was anybody murdered here? And we had a voice come across and said yes. So it's going to be a really good documentary with a lot of evidence. Now, there are some places that we didn't get nothing, and there's some places where it was just boom, boom, boom. So it's
Yeah,
going to be really cool.
that's a good topic. I mean, at least for me personally, I love history. I love like anything about like mafia or mobsters from the old times, and then I love paranormal.
Yeah.
Now, did did you hear of like things that were paranormal that surrounded the gang? Is that what kind of led to you wanting to shoot a documentary, or is it just something that you said, you know what, we're going to go out and just try this and see if we come up with any kind of material?
Well, what happened was, me and my wife, I was talking to my wife about the idea. I was like, let's do something. Let's do a documentary. I said, let's do a documentary. What could we do a documentary on that would involve paranormal investigating? And Toledo has its ties to the Purple Gang. So I was like, babe, let's start in Michigan. Let's shoot our first documentary on the Purple Gang in Michigan. I said, I'll reach out to some locations, and I would see where they've been. Now, there are other places in Michigan they have been, and we have not been there yet. And that's why this is part one, because this is just like maybe 3 or 4 locations plus a couple artifacts that is going to be in this documentary. But what brought me to it was, because the Purple Gang's known here in Toledo. So I was like, let's shoot a documentary. Let's just go out there, shoot it, and see what happens. I was like, people love history. People love the mobsters. People love paranormal investigating. So let's see what we can capture with this Purple Gang locations and see if they're still attached to that property because of the history. So
Very good. And I think You know, a lot of times with anything paranormal, as you could probably attest to, like a lot of times there's a lot of high emotion or something that's charged, like that emotionally charged, that causes, you know, some of these hauntings and things. And you would think guys like that, they probably, you know, were
Yeah.
always emotionally charged, or, you know, had some kind of, you know, something going on that was like that. What are your thoughts?
Um, I think, you know, out of this whole first documentary, I can tell you some of the places we've been to that have like shootings from the mob and from the Purple Gang, and some locations we kept pushing and pushing and we didn't get nothing. And Maggie was like, you know what? You got to remember, Dennis, back then they couldn't snitch. So we were asking like legitimate questions, and my wife was like, they're not going to tell us because they're taught not to snitch. And it's really crazy. I've never had like, there's two locations we went to. We didn't get nothing over the spirit box. Not a single thing. Nothing. And there were some locations where we got a couple things. But some really good, and there's one location where we got some really good activity. But again, like I've talked about this documentary when I first started it and got involved in it and people asking me about it, I said, it's not about catching the evidence. It's about, are they still attached to the property? That's what it's about. Is that history of that property so strong that when they passed away, are they still there?
Right.
That's that's the evidence we're trying to capture, you
And
know?
you're telling the story of the Purple Gang along
Yeah,
with it. That's neat. That's really neat.
yeah.
So what was some of the evidence that, you know, have you captured that maybe you could share with us, maybe without giving too much away? I don't want to spoil anything for your documentary, but what is some of the stuff?
Um, some of the stuff we've heard when last week when we were in Albion, Michigan, we were investigating, and I was going over some of the audio evidence, and we caught some really good, intelligent answers. We've caught some, which I have like two toy guns that I would put K2 meters on, that I would tell them, grab them. You want to shoot me, grab them. You know, and we were investigating, or there's like a pool table because the garage that they used is turned into like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a lounge, like a nightclub lounge type thing. And then they have like an attic or an upstairs attic. That's where they crack the safes, because they would bust open safes there. They would go upstairs and crack the safes, and then the downstairs part of it would be where the chop shop was. That's what I'm looking for, where they stripped the plates so that they could throw the cops off. Now, what was weird was Maggie was mentioning the person the name of the guy who was supposed to watch that chop shop. As soon as she mentioned him, we were starting to get a little bit of activity, and then all of a sudden we heard like a clicking sound, like just out the blue. You hear like a clicking sound, and we think that maybe they were, one of them or whatever was there communicating with us was actually trying to pull the trigger of one of the play guns, because we heard like a clicking sound, and
That's
we
interesting.
yeah, it's really crazy. It's really crazy. Just wait till I get the trailer together, dude. I'm gonna make the trailer so freaking sweet, dude, that it's gonna go big. I'm telling you, I'm
That's
gonna make the
awesome.
trailer. It's gonna take a little time because I want to put it together really nice, really good, and I want it to be like eye-opening and catching.
Right.
So,
Yeah, you do a nice job with your videos. What is it?
thanks.
Spirits Awaken? Is that what it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys now? How's that going? How are things with that?
We're actually, what's gonna happen is even though I put one of the episodes on Amazon to test it, I'm going to put the rest on YouTube and just write it out on YouTube. But we're also going to do a series 2 is going to be called Behind the Investigations of Spirits Awaken. That's going to follow after I release the rest of those episodes. Now, that's where me and Maggie are talking about behind the scenes of us filming that, and what we, what we explain what happened and what we experienced and what the history behind some of the building, sort of stuff like that, just behind the scenes of stuff. And
that's really cool.
Yep. And then the new series is going to be every episode in the new series that's coming out next year. The new paranormal series with David and Andrea, me and Maggie, that's all going to be on Amazon. And then the documentary is going to be on there. So.
Very good. Very good. So let's touch a little bit on your haunted artifacts. And could you just maybe touch a little bit about that, maybe for some of the listeners that didn't listen to episode 13, just touch on that. And then maybe from that, we can segue into the potential museum that you're working on, which I'm really excited for.
Yeah, I'll talk about a little about the haunted artifacts. We have over 100 haunted artifacts. We have them from doctor's bags to wheelchairs to dolls to Marine hats, that's right behind me, to puppets to construction glasses to God knows what else. We've captured numerous evidence from them, especially me. I've captured evidence that blew my mind, that blown everyone else's mind. I've caught disembodied voices, disembodied bell rings. I've caught it all. I've experienced it all with them. We do have some that are very active. We have some that are somewhat active. We have some that are residual and only active on certain dates, Now the museum's going to be called the Northwest Ohio Museum of Haunted Artifacts. Sorry, I wanted to say that right. We are in the process of building a business plan. It takes time. This stuff don't happen overnight for everyone who's listening. It takes time. Me and Maggie are hoping to have it open by next year sometime. We are lining up some really, really dark, demonic items to come into the museum, like really dark. So we are also working on doing a quarantine series in the Haunted Museum. Once we open it, the whole team's going to quarantine in there. We're going to do a bunch of stuff in there where we're going to do seances. We're going to mess with Ouija boards. We're going to do a lot of things, and we're going to film it, and we're going to release it. So we have a lot of things planned once we open the Haunted Museum. So,
now, this plan for the museum, basically, people are going to pay to come in and just kind of check out what you got lined up and the new artifacts that you get, or what's the idea about? That's pretty cool. Now there's a museum it's not quite like that, I know of, in Cleveland, that's real successful. It's not a haunted artifact museum, but it's I think it's like a curiosity museum or something like that, where there's weird stuff that you can go check out. That's real successful. So I wish you guys the best on that. I'm actually excited, and like I had mentioned to you before, I want the invite, man, on the grand opening. I want to be there.
Yeah, once we get a grand opening date, it will be all over our page. We're gonna let everyone know, share with everyone who wants to come. We're gonna offer tours. We're offering public investigations, and we're offering teams to come in and do their own private investigation. They can film, they can record, they can do whatever they want. So,
yeah, that's pretty cool. As far as locations go, do you have anything in mind or anything planned? Is it going to be like in the downtown area, or
probably be in downtown Toledo right now. We're in talks with the city, because the city is actually on board with it. They like the idea because it brings, more tourism and more, so.
Yeah, I do. I think it's a great idea. It's something that, you don't hear of every day. And going back to the haunted artifacts, I've actually seen some of your videos from some of that stuff, and yeah, you do have some pretty compelling evidence. So for the listeners out there, guys need to check his videos out and
I
check
can't
check it
explain.
out.
I can't explain some of it, man. Like
Yeah, like the one with your garage door that kept opening, and the one. What's the name of it? I'm losing the my,
wheelchair.
my thought on it, but
The wheelchair was crazy.
the wheelchair one. What was that? What was that? What were you using though?
The SLS
The
camera.
SLS camera. That's it. That's it. Yeah, yeah. That was a fascinating video.
Yeah. The
Just
EVP was even more fascinating.
yeah, yeah. It really was. It really
It
was.
called my bluff. It was like,
it,
go
it,
ahead. I was like, what?
it really did. It really did, man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. So you recently got to do an investigation in Gettysburg. On the,
I did.
I'm so jealous, man. I always wanted to go, never been. Can you
This one,
talk a little bit about
yeah.
Gettysburg?
Yeah. This is actually going to be one of the episodes. It's going to be a part of on the new series. It's going to be awesome. I will say Gettysburg is actually a very, very awesome place to go. I recommend going. Uh, Here's the messed up part about it all, though. Okay. So, David, which is a team member of mine, he went Friday. He left and went Friday. Okay. So me and Maggie, we left Saturday to go there. So we left Saturday and we were just gonna go investigate, film, head back home. As soon as me and Maggie got there, we were like, dang, we should have came Friday. Because there's so much to do there. Not just investigating. So much to do at Gettysburg. Like like we're talking about going back. Maybe not next year, but the year after. And we're also talking about bringing our boys because um my oldest, he wants to see the train museum. He's really, big in trains. So, side note, we're going to be bringing the family next time. But um but anyway, so I'll talk about a little bit about it. I'm not going to give away the episode though. I'll talk a little bit, okay? So me and David, we're investigating. We're in the Jenny Wade house. We started in Jenny Wade house, okay? Andrea and Maggie, we split up because I had two buildings locked in, the orphanage and the Jenny Wade.
What is the Jenny Wade house for the listeners, just so
Okay.
give them an idea?
Yeah, the Jenny Wade house is basically, I think she was in her 20s or 30s. Don't quote me, okay? I'm not saying I know her age, but she was shot by a Confederate soldier. She was making breakfast or something. She was shot, died in the house. The Union soldiers actually grabbed her body, took it upstairs, tried to hide it, knocked out a wall, hid it because the Confederate army, walk in, blah blah blah. So that's the Jenny Wade house. Basically, Jenny Wade died in her own house from a gunshot wound.
Now it's said to be haunted.
Yes, the house is said to be haunted by Jenny Wade, which we can't we as evidence. I haven't gone over all of it, but I can't really say if Jenny Wade came through and spoke to us. I can't even say if she really haunts the house. I'm not going to say yes or no because I'm a little skeptic on it, but I'm not going to say yes or no. Now, so we're going down to the cellar. Okay. Now, for the people who are listening, the cellar is where Jenny Wade's father haunts. The cellar. Now, this guy's been known to be in the penitentiary. Okay, lockup. Okay, so me and David, we're down there, we're investigating. Okay, we're starting out, we're asking questions. Um, and then all of a sudden, because I'm wearing a Confederate hat here, dude. Like I have a Confederate hat on. Okay, I'm trying to, trigger something. Okay, so we're investigating. We're asking. One of us asked us questions. I don't know if it was me or David. Okay, next thing you know, we hear a gunshot over the freaking spirit box. We were like, and I was like, is that a gunshot? And David's like, yeah. So that was crazy how we captured a gunshot. Um, And you can see that in the trailer because it's right in the beginning of the trailer. Like David's just like in static and acting like a little kid in a candy store when he heard that. I was like, calm down, kid. Calm down. But but yeah, you hear a gunshot and it's crazy. Now, so we move over to the orphanage, and then Maggie and Andrea come over to the Jenny Wade house because we switch in an hour. Now, now, when Maggie was at the Jenny Wade house, she actually got touched. She got touched. She got touched on the arm, was it? Shoulder, something like that. I can't remember. She got touched on the shoulder, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we were at the orphanage, David got touched on his hand by a little kid that he will also, once you have him on again, he'll talk about it too. He got touched on his hand.
Right.
And here's the compelling part about that. I catch an orb standing right above his hand, right on my full spectrum camera. Right above his hand. And it was crazy. But all in all, it was a great investigation.
I believe that. That's the thing about Gettysburg. There's
Yeah.
just been so much evidence captured by so many people, even people that weren't necessarily there to do a paranormal investigation, but were able to maybe in a photo or experience something while they're there. It's pretty crazy. Now, what was the sense like? Like, how did you feel when you were there at Gettysburg? I mean, was there a type of feeling you got or a sensation or?
Not really. I mean, I enjoyed it. We stayed in a hotel that's haunted, but where we stayed, they gave us the room that was known to be haunted, but they said it would move between like the third floor, fifth floor, between certain rooms. We didn't experience nothing. I was like, no big deal.
See,
I just gave it a shot just to see if we could experience something.
yeah.
Nothing.
See, that's what I like about you. You don't really, try to sugarcoat anything. You're either it is or it isn't. You're not really if you don't have the evidence, you just it is what it is.
Yep. I mean, also what was cool too was we were on the battlefield and we heard a couple cannon fires. I thought that was cool too.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And that's something that a lot of people talk about, right? And I've
Yep.
mentioned that like when you're on the battlefield, you hear cannon fire,
Yep.
you see something, and there's even been the videos and pictures of
Oh yeah.
soldiers that have been caught on the battlefield.
Yep. Yep.
And what do you think that is? Why do you think it's like that? Do you think it's, again, going back, do you think it's just from all the emotion and maybe the fear and the turmoil that was experienced there on the battlefield is why that stuff remains all
Well,
these years later?
I think it's more the trauma from the battle, honestly. I mean, you got to remember, man, everyone back then was sent to fight, to battle, to go to war. Your cousin, your, fathers, sons, they were all sent out there. And, you know, and to this day, people said you go out there, you can still dig up bodies because there's still, it's a whole grave site out there, dude. It is. People are finding bullets still. I mean,
That's intense.
yeah, it is. Like it seriously is. It is.
I couldn't imagine the what it would have been like to be there. That would have been probably really scary for a lot of them guys.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Just seeing people like that, get killed right in front of you and knowing that, you're probably not too far behind them.
Yeah,
Um,
most definitely.
it's pretty wild. So what were some of the other highlights of the Gettysburg trip?
Uh Nothing. I mean, I think the highlights mostly was when, we caught that gunshot and Maggie got touched and I think that's about it. Other than that, I think it was a really cool place, and for my thing is if you go out to Gettysburg, do a whole weekend. Don't just do one day. Me and Maggie learned that, and we regret that seriously because there was more I wanted to see, and we just didn't have the time. And there's actually other haunted locations I didn't even know about in Gettysburg that we didn't go see. So next time we go out there, we're gonna look up those places and investigate them. So,
Do you know any of those offhand?
uh, there one of them is I can't think of them off the top of my head. One of them is a bridge. I can't think of the name of the bridge, like off the top of my head, but one of them is a bridge. And
That's
there, and then
interesting.
yeah, and then there's another place, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. And I apologize. I just can't
It's
think
all
of it
right.
off the top of my head.
That's it's probably one of them places you could probably go, every time you go you're going to experience something different or something new.
Yeah. What's up?
Where's Liam's? Well,
It's in there. Sorry. She was asking me about my son's alarm clock. I
No,
apologize.
hey, you're good. You're good. I'll
Okay.
edit it out. No biggie, bud.
Okay.
Um, I understand. I had little ones at one time too. They're all getting grown now though.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Yeah, my oldest is like 8. So
don't take long, buddy. Enjoy it.
I
Enjoy it.
know.
Before you
He's
know it, they'll
always,
be graduating high school and you'll be going, what the heck?
he's always like, Daddy chase ghosts.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what are some of the new artifacts that have you got any new artifacts?
um I got a few over here, but um we have one that we are gonna keep under wraps. We're not gonna talk about it. That's lined up for the museum. We're working on a couple other ones too. We have let people know that if they need to donate any haunted artifacts to us, they can. You know, we'll put it in the museum. It won't go out or beyond the museum. So, but that's about it. I haven't really like purchasing artifacts left and right anymore. I'm running out of room and I gotta, figure out where to put them all. Um, but that's about it.
So what are some of the more recent haunted locations you guys have done? I know you recently just did one not too long ago, right?
Uh, what's the most recent one we've done?
Yeah, or anyone that's, maybe
I'm trying to think.
that was a good one.
I'm trying to think. I think. Oh, that's right. Okay, so me and David did this residential home, and this is going to be on the series too. It was just me and David, and because our wives had to stay home with the kids, but me and David, we did this residential home, and whatever was there, it was crazy. Um, I actually pulled out holy water, and when I pulled out the holy water, I was running the Phasma box on my laptop. When I pulled out the holy water, it said stop, and it told me to relax. And I pulled
Man.
out the holy water, and I started like just going like that all over the corners of the house, and whatever it was sweating. It was saying stop.
Do you think it was demonic?
I can't say if it was or wasn't. It could have been a negative entity, and it just don't like, and it knows the fear of holy water. I mean, it was crazy. Like, it told me as soon as I pulled it out, because I pulled it out. Well, actually, I asked, either me or David asked, we're like, "Are you negative?" And it said yes. I said, or evil or something. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it said yes. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to pull out this holy water. I pulled it out and I said, then this is really going to piss you off. And I pulled it out, and I was walking with it in the living room, and you could hear over the Phasma box, it goes, stop. And then it said, relax. I was like, nope. And I just started cleansing the house with holy water in the corners of the house. Oh my God, dude. That investigation was nuts. And wait till you see that one. That one was off the hook.
Now, what did the residents say? Is that some of the stuff that they've experienced? What were they experiencing?
The owner was actually moving out, and they wanted us to investigate the location before they moved to figure out what they needed to do, like if they needed to, come in, have it blessed or cleansed or whatnot. And I was like, well, you don't have to worry about cleansing it, because I just did with holy water all over the freaking house of the corners. So but I'm telling you, David will talk about this. That investigation was off the hook.
Did you catch some EVPs?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now were they moving because of the haunting, or were they just?
They were just moving.
They were just moving. That's interesting, though, that they wanted to know what to do with the entity. I wonder if it's still there.
I'm not sure, but I guess with the owner, what's weird is the owner of the house, like, she cleanses houses too. And yeah, it's really weird. Long story short. And she said that in her bedroom is where she felt the entity. And what was weird was I had the Boo Bear, and for everyone who's listening, I got the Boo Bear that if you ask questions and it gets a response. I had that sitting in the room on the floor, and me and David's walking around with a stage stick, cleansing. After I just freaking cleansed with holy water, he's walking around with a stage stick. And we get to that room, and we step in, and next thing you know, you hear my Boo Bear go, "Oh, that tickles." And me and David looked at each other like, dude, we didn't touch that bear. Like, what? I was like, David, something just touched that bear, dude. Because you didn't and I didn't. Because I'm filming him as he's cleansing the house. And when we're in there, like, no joke, when we were in there, dude, the curtain was moving on its own. We were just like, swear to God, Dylan, wait till you see this episode, dude. It's off I haven't put together, but wait until I put it together. It is freaking crazy.
I can't wait to see it. That's going to be good stuff.
Oh yeah, wait until you have David on, dude. He's going to talk about it. Bring it up to David, because he'll talk about it. Because he'll probably ask you, what did Dennis say about it? You can tell him I said about it, because it was a crazy investigation. Like, I even messaged him after, and I said, dude, that investigation was off the chain.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. So what do you got? What do you guys got planned? I know you've got a lot going on. You've got the museum, you've got the documentary, you're still doing investigations, but what are some of maybe the future things that I'm not aware of that, you've got planned?
What's funny is I'm one of those guys that are just like sporadic at the last minute. Let's just go with it type person. I don't plan for anything ahead. I just, if it pops in my mind and I can work with it, then I'll, put it down on my list to do. There's, don't get me wrong. There's so much you can do in this field if you just stay focused. If you stay focused and tune out everything else, you'll be successful. You just gotta, what it is you just gotta find your, what's the word I'm looking for? You gotta find your like your edge in the game. That's all. Your belonging in the game. And once you do, you're gonna take off. You're gonna do things you're, popular or not. People are gonna look at you, people are gonna see you. You're gonna be like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know you guys are probably doing pretty well. Every time I turn around, you're on a different podcast, it looks like, and it's pretty cool. Cool to see you doing that, or you're releasing a new video, or there's
oh yeah.
always something going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, I haven't even done my podcast show in a while because I've just been so busy with filming and trying to get everything else going, and I'm just like, it's just another project that I gotta, do. So like my podcast show's like on the back burner right now because I got other things, going on that I'm focused on right now. But I don't mind doing the podcast. I think it's fun, and I enjoy doing the show, and I love talking to, you know, people, and just having Maggie and my co-host who's on there with me. We're just, talking about life, not just paranormal, but about life too. So, you know,
Very good. So what are some of the I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. What is your goals to do with this team? I mean, I know you've got a lot of the goals we've talked about, but I guess what's some of the far goals that you're looking to do, maybe with the museum and just with the paranormal team itself? Because I mean, like I said, you guys are kind of blowing up. You're growing. I even just in the short time I've known you, the 6 or 8 months that I've known you, it seems like you guys are doing big things.
um, I'm actually, with the museum, I'm just looking to take it where, as far as it can go, where people just want to come and experience haunted objects. That's it. That's where the museum stands, is for people who have haunted items and need to get rid of them, and we can just put them in the museum and just keep them there. And me and my team can just do investigations and figure out what's attached to them, and just leave them there. And people can see that items that they wouldn't even think can be haunted are haunted. you know Team wise, I'm going to take the team as far as I can. Honestly, I've told my wife, I said, I hope my boys, when they get older, they're going to want to, take it over where I can't do it no more. I think my two boys, if they put their minds together, honestly, I think they could run the team really well, and they could run the museum really well. I think their interest in this field is going to grow for them as they get older. They're going to want to come out with mommy and daddy and investigate and get more interest in it. And,
And I'm
especially,
sure that'll be a good thing for you to do that with your boys, to share
oh,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, that'll be great.
yeah, I, my, like I said, especially my oldest, he's really good with, building. And I hope he can, maybe this will give him an edge to want to build, paranormal equipment that we could test in the field or in the museum, you know? So,
Very good. Um, Maybe next time, like I told you before, man, if you're ever close to the Columbus area, or you ever need to do an investigation up in the Youngstown area, I've got people up there I could stay with. I'd love to come on an investigation with you guys at some point.
yeah, I'm going to be looking for locations here soon for next year. So, I'm going to be looking in Columbus. I'm going to be looking in Cleveland, um, Youngstown, somewhere in that area. Um, I might actually I'm thinking about reaching out to do the Shanley Hotel. You know where that is?
No, uh-uh.
It's in New York. It's not the Stanley, it's the Shanley. Write that down. Shanley Hotel.
And
It's
what's the history on that? What's going on with that?
it's one of the world's haunted locations. People can't stay the night there. They go running out at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Seriously. So I'm thinking about staying there. Now, if you're interested, you're more than welcome to join us in the Shanley Hotel if you like. I'm looking to stay the night, film, investigate that location, and you're more welcome to join us in New York
Man,
next year.
That sounds kind of scary, though. That's a heck of a way to break a beginner in. I'm just saying. I'm just
Yeah, my
saying.
wife was laughing.
That
Believe it, I took Maggie to Waverly Hills, and she enjoyed every moment of it.
Have you guys visited the Mansfield Reformatory at all?
Yes, I have, and it's actually not what I expected, and it's not as haunted as they say it is.
That's
That's
what
my
I've actually talked to quite a few people in this area that have went there. They kind of say similar things to what you're saying.
okay. So I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to put down OSR, and I know the history of OSR, and Shawshank Redemption was filmed there, and that's all cool and all. But no, I can tell you, Waverly Hills would blow OSR out the water. I'll tell you that right now, and that's another place down the road I have to take you to. I want you to experience Waverly.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about Waverly, and
Yeah. I took 2 of my friends to Waverly. Last year, honey? Yeah, last year, and they enjoyed it.
it's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it's always a pleasure.
I do that for my friends. I try to get them to a location. I pay for a location for them to come with us to enjoy it one time, with us. So,
It's good to have you back on the show, man. It's good catching up with you. You got a lot going on. We'll definitely have to have you back on the show again sometime, just to maybe in the future, maybe after you open the museum or you get your documentary up and rolling. Where can they find your videos, and where can they check out the Toledo Spirit Hunters?
um, they can actually check us out at on Facebook, of course, at the team page, Toledo Spirit Hunters. You can look for us on Instagram at Toledo Spirit Hunters and Twitter. You can check us out on YouTube at Toledo Spirit Hunters. That's where I post our like I call it like footage that don't make the episodes. I call it lost footage, so people can check out the footage that don't make the episodes. You know, um, and then that's where the rest of Spirits Awaken is going to be. It's going to be on YouTube. Uh, and then behind the investigation of Spirits Awaken will also be on YouTube too. And that everyone's going to enjoy that because, me and Maggie will have our little laugh and, we'll talk about, some funny incidents that happened or, whatnot. So look for that to be coming out here pretty soon. Probably by the end of this year, I'm going to release it. Me and Maggie just haven't had time to sit down and film it, but it's going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool. And then you can check out the first episode of Spirits Awaken on Amazon Prime. And then next year on Prime, look for the documentary that's going to be coming out. And then the new paranormal series with Gettysburg and Toledo Yacht Club and that residential home that I talked about earlier, and I think about 2 or 3 more locations. So, and then we keep everyone up to date on the status of the museum too on our page. We keep everyone up to date. We also have a Toledo Spirit Hunters group that you can join where we share a lot of things in. So,
Very good. And for you listeners out there, the links will be in the episode notes, so check them out. Check out the Toledo Spirit Hunters. And hey, Dennis, thanks for coming on the show, man.
yep, not a problem, man.